welcome back, watch people. Now it's good to be able to bring you some positive news this evening after the video that I released a couple of days ago, the final countdown as we approach the massive reopening of authorised dealers across the United Kingdom at least, and the fact that a lot of watches have been sold on the back of a promise by authorised dealers to customers who have been brave enough to pay up front. Now the good news is that since I released that video, I've had contact with roughly, I would say, give or take, about 100 people who have paid for their watches up front and are waiting to collect them. Now, some authorised dealers are starting to reopen, I believe, on Monday, which is the 15th. And a lot of these people that have been in contact with me, in fact, I would say probably 95%, if not a little bit more, have already had calls from their authorised dealers to book an hour slot for them to go and collect their watches, which is absolutely fantastic news. Look, I've said in the past that historically Rolex very rarely get anything wrong, and like a lot of other people, when this first broke, I've got to be honest, it started to smell a little bit fishy, and I was genuinely concerned that at the time, at least, when all the shops initially closed down with the outbreak of the pandemic, I had a genuine fear that it was possible that maybe one or even two of these groups, if you like, or independent, not independent dealers, but smaller owned authorised dealers, family run authorised dealers, which are quite a rare thing now, there was a possibility that, you know, maybe they could have gone into administration. A lot of companies have done so during this really difficult period. Now, there is a slight caveat to this bit of news as well, which I'll come to a little bit later on in the video. But for now, at least, it looks like the vast majority of people who have paid for those watches up front are going to receive them during a 1 hour appointment time slot that authorised dealers are ringing up their customers and giving them almost seemingly by the hour. So that does appear to be very good news indeed. Now, there's one or two people who haven't yet had contact from their authorised dealers, and there's one or two people who have also said that they have had contact, but their watches won't be ready for another couple of weeks, which is a little bit strange. But look, benefit of the doubt, at least the authorised dealers are saying the watches are coming, and we're also told, which would kind of solve another issue and answer another question. And I'm going to actually throw a great comment up on screen that a viewer left for me a couple of days back. And that was from Stephen Tomosa, who said, "If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I don't see any good outcome from this. If the watches materialise, then we all know for a fact that supply is controlled, and if the watches don't materialise, those dealers are never going to hear the end of it." Now, Stephen, I picked out your comment because it summed my thoughts up perfectly, and I thought it was a great way of putting things. We may have an answer to it though, in the respect that more than a couple of people have written to me with an explanation seemingly direct from the authorised dealers, and they've been saying that it's actually Rolex in Geneva who have very kindly and generously offered their authorised dealerships a supply that's going to help them out during the lockdown period to keep their businesses afloat. Now look, at the end of the day, that doesn't alter the fact that, you know, we know that supply is controlled. But that kind of points to supply being controlled from Geneva rather from the authorised dealers. I'm trying to give the ADs a bit of a break here tonight and a bit of benefit of the doubt. So that's certainly good news, and I think it leaves us in the position now where I don't think there's a lot of point in me being informed by my viewers that their orders are being fulfilled. I think that seems to be quite clear now that hopefully, fingers crossed at least, is going to happen. I think we're going to be more interested now, and hopefully there won't be any news, but if you have made a purchase, if you have paid for your watch up front and your order doesn't materialise, I think that's going to be probably of more interest now than the fact that most orders seem that they are going to get fulfilled. But there is, as I said earlier in the video, there is a caveat to this story. And it's one that's going to affect a lot of people who already own their watches, and it's going to affect people who are looking to buy certain watches within the next 2 to 6, 8 weeks. And that caveat is this, is that there are going to be, without a question, quite a large influx into the grey market of all of the hot sports watches, even right down to the Explorer 2s, right up to the Daytonas. I mean, there are a lot of watches that are going to be bought by individuals who put them straight into the grey market. So to try and make this as understandable as possible for everyone, let me give you just one example of one watch. Let's talk about 11610 LV green Hulk Submariner. Now, the price today may not be relevant in 2 weeks' time, because I know of one dealer, at least one dealer, who has already this week alone been offered half a dozen 11610 LVs direct from the purchaser who has paid for these watches up front. They've now got their appointment to go and collect them, and they intend to put them straight into the grey market. Now, that's going to happen a lot, and it's going to happen with all of the hot models. It's going to happen with everything from your Blue Dial Datejusts right up to your stainless steel Daytonas. So everyone out there right now who's looking to buy into one of the late 11 series models, the current models, I think you need to be very, very careful about purchasing right now. Over the next 2 or 3 days, I think is definitely not the time to be buying. And I tell you why, because we all need to see how many of these watches are going to hit the market, and I think it's going to be quite a large number. Now, I've had people contacting me that have told me that they've ordered, for an example, a regular Submariner 11610 LN. They've ordered a sub, they've paid for it, and then a week later the ADs have rung them up again, offering them a second watch and a third watch in some cases. Now, a lot of people who have had the money and been able to do this have said yes to all of those watches with the one and only intention of selling them pretty quickly, turning them around, probably almost on the same day, to make a quick buck. Now, at the end of the day, that is going to mean that a lot of watches are going to hit the market over the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And I think we all need to be very careful about what you're paying for those watches. And we all know the usual suspects. We know what models we're talking about. You just got to be careful, because the price is relevant today may not be relevant in 4 weeks' time. I suppose the only irony of the whole situation during lockdown is that for the last God knows how many years, so many people have been almost laughed out of Rolex dealerships when they're wanting to go on a list for a particular model, and now when the dealers needed the money, all of a sudden they were able to come up with the goods. Look, you know, good luck to the people who are getting their watches over the next week or so. As I say, it's probably really more relevant now. It's not that I'm looking for bad news, but good news doesn't really make any headlines. So the fact that hopefully there are hundreds of you out there going to be collecting your watches within the next week or so, that's great. And we're obviously, everyone's really pleased for you. But I think everyone's going to be more interested in now if any of it doesn't materialise, if any of the promises aren't kept. But look, guys, look, I don't mind. Let me know either way. You can let me know in the comments section. That's probably the best way to do it. If it's good news, let me know in the comment section. If it's not so much good news, then obviously you can drop me a line and I'll look into it a little bit further. Now, lastly, I know a lot of you guys have said, oh, you're back already, Paul. You said you wasn't going to do so many watch videos, but I thought this message tonight was really important, especially in particular the part about being wary about the current hot watches, that we just don't know where these prices are going to go over the next few weeks. My suggestion would be let the grey market dealers suck up all the spares from the market and let's see where that takes us price wise. Thanks for watching, and we'll speak again soon. care.